So when we think about the long-term threats to prosperity and standards of living in this country, have we spent too much relative time talking about Social Security and Medicare and taxes and not enough time talking about the climate?
Oh, boy. Can I take a short shot at that? No, you go. No,
Well,
you
mean about climate change and climate?
Yeah.
Well, climate change is like something everybody is concerned about, or most people are concerned about it, but there's very little we can do now that's going to affect what happens. In other words, if we do certain economic things, we might be able to fix Social Security, fix Medicare, Medicaid, get our deficit under control, and so forth. There's very little that we can do as a country that is going to solve the climate issue of global warming. We can make progress, and we should, but when you look at the things you can do with the time available and the resources that you have, since it's not just a U.S. issue, it's a global issue, our ability to impact climate change is much less than it is our ability to affect these other issues that you just referred to.
I think our key problem, as you know, fiscally is Medicare. And Medicare that in turn is some fair measure of function of health care costs and what's going to happen to those. And who's ever interested, we have a 5 o'clock panel today with Peter Orszag, Ken Davis, myself. We're going to discuss that. So there. Global climate change, I guess, David, I have a slightly different view. I don't know enough about the science, but I'm sort of convinced that nobody does, even the scientists most expert in this. But I'm kind of persuaded by something that Al Gore said to me a long time ago. We were in the White House together. We were walking down David Roosevelt, because he was there. There's a corridor between the Oval Office and the Vice President's office. We were walking down there, and he said, nobody knows if this is absolutely certain. I think most scientists think today it probably is. And nobody knows when it's going to eventuate, when it's going to materialize. But we can't take the risk of being wrong, because if we're wrong, then we've reached a point where the inundative effects are going to be overwhelming. And I guess that's kind of a view that I've come to share. It is true. What David says is absolutely right. The United States cannot solve this. On the other hand, life on Earth could really be massively affected by this. And there are serious people who think the time frame may be much shorter than the prevailing view. So I think what the United States should try to do, because David's right, we cannot solve this problem. But I think if we had a political system that would function on this, I think what we should do is do what we need to do now, and then we should go to the rest of the world, which after has been much more, in some ways, much more willing to deal with this than we have, and try to provide a moral leadership. I also saw, David, the other day, well, I was in China a few weeks ago, but then I saw when I came back that there's some consideration, China at least, of having some kind of a partial cap in trade, which, if so, would be an important step on China's part. If you had China and the United States both coalescing around this, that's a lot of moral suasion as well as place in the world.